Hello and welcome back to the ADHD Girls podcast with me, Claire.
And me, Laura.
Had to remember who I was there. I was like, now, is it me, Laura? You, Laura? Me, Claire?
Can be whoever you want to be.
So today we are going to be talking about spatial awareness and a word I'm going to have to take a run up to, which is proprioception. I think I've said it right, which is a sense of where you are in your surroundings, I think.
Yes, where you are, not where your surroundings
Yeah.
are. So, yes, we're going to start off, as we do every week, with how did our ADHD show up for us this week? So, Claire, how did your ADHD present itself?
I have got a few days off work and I have just realised how much I've been running on fumes because I have had so much rest and sleep these last few days. And I thought, 8 hours sleep's enough, but actually I've needed a lot more. And I think I just realised how much I've been pushing through, and that going back to what we said on another episode about people pleasing and just trying to be productive. And I've actually had a chance to take a breath, rest, and just really enjoying this lovely weather. It's coinciding really well with me being off work and having a rest. But active rest because I'm not lying around doing nothing.
Yes, it's recharge rest.
Recharge rest, yeah. And how about you?
So I find I'm not in God mode, but I'm in productive mode. So my brain has energy and is able to focus. And again, I don't know if it's to do with the weather. It might be, it might not. But I'm eating well. And it's not about diet, I think. It is just being mindful of just putting nutrients in your body.
That rainbow of colours.
Yes, just getting the good stuff, like non-processed stuff as much as possible. And I'm working on the final edits of the book.
Oh, wow.
So I feel like I'm progressing and getting what needs to be done, but without the pressure or stress. Mm-hmm. And it's like, this is a nice place to be where me and my brain are working together.
Yeah.
I find, because sometimes with my ADHD, I find my ADHD is trying to do one thing, I'm trying to do something else, and we're just not communicating.
Yeah.
While at the moment, me and my brain are actually on the same path of, we're going to do this and we can do this. And we're actually doing it, which is the most amazing thing. And it feels good. It's like, okay, so I'm making the most of it. I'm not, because I find in the past when I've been in this zone, I've pushed like, oh my God, everything has to be done now because I'm in this zone. Well, now I am like, no, we're just going to focus on this one thing and then see what happens.
So it sounds like you're being productive, but not excessively so, because we can get into that thing of like, I've got to be ultra productive.
Yes,
I've got to do everything.
Yes, I'm not in that mode.
Good, because that leads to burnout.
I'm trying to rein it in of like, I'm on the reins of the horse and the horse is going on at a good pace. And I'm getting, it's a nice productive place to be. Good. So that's me and my ADHD are working together for once.
Yeah.
It's good. It's amazing. Good. So tell me about this spatial awareness. How do you perceive it?
Spatial awareness is knowing where things are around you. Mm-hmm. So that would be like walking past something and not walking into it. That would be good spatial awareness. And I feel that mine varies greatly. So sometimes I've got excellent spatial awareness, so I can feel I can park my car in any spot. I can very much aware where things are. But other times it's like the messages are getting jammed, and I find myself walking an angle through a doorway in a house that I've lived in for 15 years, and I'm just walking into the door frame.
I find I do this when I'm overloaded mentally.
Yes.
And I'm just not really thinking, because I have to do it. And it's normally when I'm walking around the house, I'm like, the dishwasher, they have to do this. Oh, I've got that off. Also, I've got to do that. Oh, and where's this? And I'm so in my head that my body just doesn't seem to.
Yeah, I would agree. It's like when I feel slightly manic, when ADHD is like, it's that rushing around and I've got so many thoughts going in my head and it's like, oh, I can't walk straight. And I catch myself walking at a sort of, I would say 45-degree angle. I don't know, but quite an angle.
Why am
I not walking straight through this door
like
frame?
A scene from Matrix or Inception. You're like, the world is not where it should be.
So spatial awareness is knowing where things are around you, and proprioception is knowing where you are. So it's that sense of where I fit into this environment that I'm in. I guess both of those are going wrong. That's when you start walking into things.
So I find my big toe finds that corner of the most painful object it can find.
Yeah.
But I find it's not even my toe sometimes, it's this weird bit between my toes. It's not like my big toe will be like, get out the way. The other toes will just spread. and it will be just one bit where it's like, no, I want to be hurt.
Yeah.
I'd be like, how have I walked into that with that part of my body?
I know. And then other times, like, I will walk past and say I've got a pocket on something. That pocket will find a door handle.
Oh my God, yeah, that's
and
my,
it just lurches you back. It's like, oh my God.
And I'm like, why am I not moving? The door wants to come with me.
So that goes on. But then other times I feel like I've got an internal GPS, which is really reliable. And oftentimes if I'm out walking with a partner, he might have a map and he's like studying the map, where to go. And I'm like, you don't need the map. It's in that direction. And I'm like, I don't know the name of the route, the name of the footpath, whatever, but I know it's over there. And I know if I follow that route, you think of birds when they migrate from, I don't know, like the far north of Norway, and they go down to Africa, and they navigate, I think, they use man-made objects that they'll navigate through roads and canals, but also rivers. But as well as that, they have magnets.
They have internal GPS, don't they? Using magnetic fields, isn't it?
I guess I feel I have a sense of that. And it goes back to being a child. Like, I remember I don't necessarily remember it because I was about 2 or 3, but there is photographs of me. But we'd gone on a holiday to France with family, and most of my family had gone off in one direction. And I was with my mum, and then she said, we need to go back or we need to go find them or something. And apparently I just had a massive tantrum, and I said, it's this way. And Mum was like, how do you know that? Because this kid, I've just taken her advice. She's never been to this forest before. How does she know? And apparently I was absolutely adamant, screaming, crying, you have to go this way. And my mum's always spoken about it. She's like, you always seem to know without any sort of conscious thought where you're going. So I just find it a bit of a contradiction how I can have that, and yet I can
the door handle stops you, but
I can see the door frame, and I'm still walking into it.
I have a similar thing of, I think when I was younger we always went out to parks, so maybe from at a young age we were both used to navigating natural surroundings.
Maybe it felt safer than being in man-made surroundings.
Yeah, because similar to you, when I'd go out, I'd kind of know, it's in that direction. And if I go out with friends, they'd be like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, it's this way. So now anyone, when I go out, they're like, it's okay, because Laura will know how to get back to the car. It's fine. Exactly. And I always do. I genuinely am like, no, it's this way, it's that way.
It's knowing it's there on the compass point, but as I say, don't necessarily know the name of the road, but I know if I follow that, I don't know how to get it.
Yeah, it's in that way. And
it could be a thing about being around in nature and just finding it much more.
But that's our natural setting, let's be honest. Nature is our natural setting.
Maybe we're just more in touch with that, and
we're just kind of going back to our roots of we kind of know where we've come from.
True.
And maybe because, like we've talked about in previous podcasts, we're taking so much information that maybe we're not aware of.
Exactly. Who's to say we're not taking in like 10,000 pieces of information per minute, and other people are taking in 1,000.
Well, they're just not really thinking of that, because some people, if they're in a conversation, they're so enthralled in that conversation, or they're used to a different way of being.
Yeah.
Well, we're used to, what are the surroundings? So I think we talked about this before, that our natural thing was they have a theory that people with ADHD autism used to be natural hunter-gatherers.
Yeah, and they would spot the dangers. So you'd get people who are quite happy being at home in the cave, whatever, on the
fireplace. Yeah.
Whereas we'd be like, no, I need to go and find things. And that is that natural curiosity that we both
maybe that's passed down the generations in DNA, whatever you want to call it, and through that we kind of naturally it's ingrained in us.
There's obviously a huge advantage to having ADHD, because it wouldn't exist now if there wasn't. It wouldn't get passed on. But there's a sizable percentage of the population with ADHD, and I definitely have read and seen this reference to being a hunter-gatherer in the farmer's world, and that's why we feel out of place. And I can spot when I'm out and about. I'm out with my partner, and he's really into birds and bird watching and stuff like that, and I'll just like, there's a so-and-so bird. He's like, how did you spot that? Like, I don't really know. I wasn't really looking for it, but I noticed a different call to the rest of it, and I picked it out, and then it made me look, and then I saw this bird, and he's like, I'll be looking for that bird. That's really rare. And I'm like, okay. So it's that.
It's a good trait to have.
Yeah, taking in so much information. But the other side of it can it can be not working very well. And the other night I was out for a run with a group of people, and I was running along really nicely. I felt great. No aches and pains, and the next second I was on the floor, on the pavement, looking up going, I don't know how I ended up here.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. I somehow managed to simultaneously injure my right knee and my left shoulder. And we were talking about
Did the pavement wrap? It was a Matrix moment.
Well,
The world wrapped around you. It was just like, well, injure
what
you.
happened? And, it doesn't really make any sense. I actually ended up 180 degrees facing back the way I came. I thought, I don't really know what happened. And I'm really curious to know how I fell. Obviously, it just happened really quickly. And I looked at the pavement. I was like, I don't see anything I've tripped on. I don't see anything obvious. But again, maybe I was distracted. Maybe I had new trainers on. Maybe they just felt different. And being super sensitive to how clothing and shoes feel. Maybe something just wasn't quite right. I didn't pick my legs up, my feet up properly. But yeah, it was quite a shock because I was like, oh. And I also know that pavement really well because it's actually outside of where I live. So it was a bit awkward because people were helping me up. They're like, oh, how are you going to get home? And I was like, oh, I actually managed to fall over right outside where I live.
I was like, she just wanted to get out of the run. I mean, just tell us, don't fall
extreme, isn't it? A bit overly dramatic. So we've spoken before about how as ADHDers we get really affected by sensory inputs, and sometimes we just need a quiet space. We don't need all people's sensory inputs. But we also sometimes really need that strong sensory input. So some people might want to, for example, to take on dangerous sports, go on a roller coaster. And I'm not mad keen on roller coasters because they make me feel a bit sick, but I do understand some people want to feel that thrill, but also feel safe at the same time.
Dopamine or endorphin hit. Because afterwards you get that thrill. It's like, it makes you feel alive, doesn't it? It gets the blood going through you, and it's that thrill, isn't it?
And I think that's probably what we're seeking. And I know for myself, I've got myself into arguments in the past, or I've lost my temper. There's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes it's not what I wanted as an outcome of a situation, and I can feel that rage coming on. And I guess all ADHDs are probably seeking for a way to regulate that dopamine. And so, if you are into thrill seeking, into endurance sports, whatever, that could be a really safe way to get that dopamine hit without picking an argument with somebody, or the wrong person, or saying something you might regret.
Yes.
Which is always...
And it's it's kind of an input, but output as well, because you're kind of getting something as well. You're kind of exerting yourself, or you're doing something you enjoy, but it's also sometimes an obsession, isn't it? It's that autistic trait of, oh my God, this is, you've got people that love trains, or people love planes, and then you've got I think people on, you've got surfers, you've got hikers, you've got ultra runners, and there's so many sports where you really look into it and you go, wow, these people are so dedicated.
I remember watching a Tour de France documentary on Netflix, and there's a British cyclist, I think his name's Pidcock, and I was looking thinking, he's ADHD. He was taking on this downhill at ridiculous speeds, and he was just getting such a thrill out of it. And the way he was talking was like, yep, you are getting a massive thrill out of that. And your brain is taking in all those inputs, and you're just performing at such a fast level down on this downhill. I mean, it made me feel a bit queasy watching it.
Yeah. Actually, you saying that, I was watching a documentary about managing stress. And I can't remember what it was on, but it's got Chris Hemsworth, and they put him through all these different ways of managing stress, because obviously it has the toll on your body, it ages you, but they're saying there is healthy ways of managing stress.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And there's this professor was saying, the more you go into stressful situations, but you have coping skills, later on when you go into another, as long as you keep using these same coping skills, which is the box breathing, where you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, and you breathe out for 4 seconds. That regulates your breathing, your heart rate, and it almost tells your body you're not in danger because you're not panic breathing.
There's different ways you can box breathe. You can breathe in for 4, hold it for longer. I think the most important thing is that you hold and you breathe out for longer, because I've read that it regulates the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is all about, it regulates your breathing, your heart rate, your digestion, all those things that are going on.
So all these things going on, he was doing this, he went swimming in the Arctic. So it's like minus, and he's getting ready. And again, he's like, I'm using all these things. And you just think, well, the body is amazing. And I find people with the neuro, they kind of think, well, what can I do? But it's that level of control and managing the control and stress that you put yourself under. And I think people doing the extreme sports, it's almost like, well, I can manage it because I've come up with ways to do these things.
Yeah.
And you get a thrill, but I know what I'm doing. And I think that's with anything with neuro people of once you get into a habit of, well, I know what to do, to someone else it might be like, oh my God, how are you doing that? But you've developed coping strategies. And I think it goes back to maybe a bit of masking as well, where, you know, we're at a certain way of like, go, 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 go. Or someone else went, oh, well, how are you doing all that? But it's like you've just managed it, but it doesn't mean you can maintain it if you're not managing stress in a healthy way.
I think that's why I like running, because it stresses me out enough. It's in a good way.
I like running, it stresses me out.
Stressing my body, but in a really positive way. I feel great when I do. I am one of those people who gets a runner's high.
Yeah, endorphin hit
some people
after.
are like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, do you not feel amazing when you don't know? I mean, I did a run recently in torrential rain. It was simultaneously the worst run of my life, but also the best, because I felt so amazing when I finished it, because it was a real battling through this rain and wind and cold. And I just felt fantastic afterwards, because I put my body through stress. But I was doing an activity I loved. Yes, my feet were cramping. Yes, I was practically hypothermic. But when I finished, I felt on top of the world, because I'd conquered it.
You and your blue lips.
Yes. And my soggy everything. Yeah, so exercise, that again, that I'd come back to the exercise of just doing something that challenges you and then getting through it is such a big boost to...
I think spatial awareness is like, because at the moment we're out in nature, it instantly lowers your heart rate, because you've got that, you know, all the sensory, you've got, today we're lucky with the sunlight, but you've got the grass, you've got the smell of the earth, you've got the birds. Like at the moment there's an absolute chorus of birds around us. I don't know if it's going to come through or not on the recording, but it's so peaceful, serene. And it's what my soul needs.
Birdsong's really good to hear. And
it lowers everything. So I think with spatial, I think maybe as well, we're not in a natural environment.
Yeah.
Where, you know, we've got everything around us, and it just may be on a subconscious level, we're just annoyed of like, this is annoying.
I kind of, that in that sort of primal sense, that's kind of why I like walking and running, because we are two-legged creatures that are meant to be walking and running.
Movement is so, like when I don't move, I feel that everything is worse.
It's just so pure. It's just going for a walk. It's just so pure. It's literally what the body is designed to do, to walk.
I mean, even when I just go for a walk by myself, afterwards I come back and I feel my brain is working better. My body, it needs it. My soul, it's on so many levels.
Helps our sense of where things are, where we are in position to everything.
Yeah. And also like the senses, we've got all these senses and they need to be, it's like a piano, it needs to be played.
Yeah.
All our senses. It needs to have that, like, I can hear a bird. I can smell. That's a nice, like, pine or whatever. I can smell that.
It is honestly blissful here.
You need the sunlight a bit for your eyes. Now, I don't look directly into the sun, but sometimes I just like being out in the sunlight without sunglasses just to get that. It also says, I was reading that the sunlight in the morning helps regulate your hormones and your melanin.
Circadian rhythm.
That's circadian. Yeah, that's it. It's
like
right. I just can't say
you're
it.
right. And we've got a beautiful blue sky. I can see so different shades of green. I can see spring green coming up, which is that lovely, bright, yellowy green. Blossom is coming out. Bird song. It's just,
and you need it. It's you're an instrument where you're like, I need to process this because I need it. It's normal. Let's be honest. Our normal lives aren't normal of sitting in a flat.
So I guess like this walking into doors and stuff, is that because we're in a man-made environment? I mean, I don't find myself walking into trees, put it up. So is it that we're quite under load when we're in a man-made environment?
That's a really deep dive. I think so, because our natural environment would be probably in, let's be honest, it was caves, then it was kind of cabins, but it was all kind of more open, wasn't it? And I think we're now going back to more open spaces naturally, where you've got the living room and kitchen open plan, then you've got a few bedrooms scattered around. It's a bit more natural for us to not have things. And as well, I find my brain...
I feel like a cave. I feel like a safe cave I can retreat to, where I can shut the door, make it all dark and black, and I can just reset. But I think, if you think about inside, we're talking about right angles, aren't we? The natural world is not right angles. It's flow. It's much more of a free-handed, it's curves.
It's sculptured, isn't it?
Yeah, buildings are harsh right angles.
Yeah.
Which, aren't not what, you don't really find that in nature, do you?
No.
It's much more uneven, but flow.
We're hybrids, really, aren't we? Because we want nature, but then we don't create nature.
Yeah.
So we're almost like, well, that doesn't fit, but it I mean, that's what is built everywhere.
Right.
I mean, could you look back at the architecture? I mean, some of the architecture in Europe and stuff, you know, it's stunning. So gothic and beautiful and fantasy, medieval. It's absolutely beautiful. And you come here to the UK and you've got blocks of everything. And it's like, what's going on here?
Boring square houses with tiny gardens that are all neat.
It's so sad.
Let's have a bit of mess. Let's have a bit of nature and a bit of disorder and a bit of
open plan. So we've reached the no shame zone where we share something that we feel kind of ashamed for, but now we're learning to be more kinder and see it in a different way. And it was half term recently, and I kind of lost my mind a little bit because I was tired. I didn't get much sleep because of the other things going on. And I wish I didn't lose my temper, but I found I was just, you know, when you're just so tired, where everything hurts, everything's a bigger problem than it is.
Overwhelmed?
Yeah, it's just overwhelmed, overstimulated, over everything. And afterwards, I did apologise for it. I mean, it was just kind of shouted. It was just, I've had enough. I'm just so tired. And as well, I think I felt a lot of pressure of, it's tough. We have to do something. We can't, you know, you can't just sit at home and watch TV all day. And it's just doing, like, okay, well, we need to do something. And it was that pressure, the lack of sleep, you know, everything on me of like, right, if I don't do it, it doesn't happen. Afterwards, I did apologise, but I wish I didn't let it out, but I know I'm human and sometimes you're human and you do human things. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it feels a lot worse than it necessarily does to the other person. And I'm guessing there's a bit of like masking over the years where you haven't, and then you let it out and you feel bad, but actually sometimes the other person doesn't even really think it's that big a deal, but we feel that shame of like, oh, I lost my temper, I've embarrassed myself, I shouldn't have done it, but actually it
needed to come out. But I just wish it, I mean, it was afterwards, it was that, and this was afterwards, it was like, right, well, what needs to change for this not to happen? And it then got into the, right, this what needs to change. And then the next night I got 10 hours sleep and then I was human again.
Great.
I could actually function and enjoy half term because I had the capacity and the energy, not just physically, but mentally, of, right, I can now do things because I'm in a place of coming from a place of rest instead of coming from a place of exhaustion. So, that was mine. What about you, Claire?
I've spoken quite a lot about running, and I didn't take up running until I was in my 30s, and I always thought I couldn't run. I didn't have a natural runner's physique, whatever the hell that is. But, you know, I wasn't tall enough, and legs weren't long enough, not skinny enough. And I was like, oh, who am I to go out running? I'm too fat, etc., etc. Thank you. But actually, sod it, who cares? And I love running. I love it whether I do it slowly, whether I do a distance, a short distance, long distance. It's my right to go out and run.
Let's be honest, what about the people who can't run?
Exactly.
There's a lot of people who, for whatever reason, can't run.
Yeah, having been there myself, not being able to walk or run for a time, it's I'll never take that for granted. And just do it.
You've got a body, it works, do it. I mean, when I see walkers, and they tend to be people of all different shapes, sizes, ages. And for me, it's great because I've seen older people with sticks and things, and they're still, you know, they're very dedicated. And I genuinely I never say anything, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you are walking and doing this and just doing it. This, you know, if anybody sees that negatively, and says anything, that's a good thing because you know who to stay away from.
Yep.
You just think, right, you're an idiot. I don't want
you've made it clear that you're
an idiot.
And I think school has a lot to answer for, because it was like, if you're really good at something, and they would spend all their time teaching you in PE, and then if you weren't in the top set, it was like, oh, just go and amuse yourselves for an hour, which is a terrible message to send to kids doing PE lessons. But anyway, I'm not bitter.
No.
So I found my own sports when I was in my 30s. So just go out and do it.
Just do it.
Yeah,
perfect.
So brings us to the close of today's session, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time. Bye.